As you can tell, summer's in full swing and we're out and about enjoying the lakes. Been to the beach several times already this year, so really trying to take full advantage of the season and everything that the region has to offer. So as you already saw, the subject of this episode is installing the wire fencing around the future vegetable garden. As a quick reminder, we had used the trencher to put a trench around the outside perimeter. The idea here was to bury the wire fence about a foot deep to try to have some sort of provision against groundhogs and rabbits and digging animals of that sort. So this is what the trench looks like. Unfortunately, there's still a ton of roots, rocks, and other obstacles. So in order to actually be able to install the fence a foot deep, I'm forced to go at it with a hoe and manually clear out the trench some more, which is extremely slow and painstaking work. I have two different sections of fencing. So I have a 3-foot high section of fencing with a smaller window size, a 1 by 2 inch window size. So I'm marking 2 feet up on the posts from the ground level to have a reference point letting me know that I'm actually a foot in the ground. And then later there will be a secondary section of fencing above this that is 5 feet high, which has a larger window size of 2 by 4, because at that level it basically is just about keeping the deer out. The idea here is to use 2 boards with a couple of screws through them in order to grab the fence basically, and then use clamps in order to pull it taut against the posts, making sure to get it as straight as possible. For the fastening to the posts, I'm using what I believe are called poultry fence staples. Just a heavy-duty staple, galvanized, that I'm putting into the posts with a hammer. In case you were wondering, no, I'm not doing outfit changes for these videos. This is a process that takes actually the span of several weeks to get it done. So whenever I have some time during lunch break or an hour or two after work, I head out there, do a little bit more, do some trenching with the hoe, do some installment of the fence, and very slowly but surely eventually end up making my way around the entire area. Also, in some places I have to make cuts into the lower edge of the fence. So for example, every time that I get to a post, I have to cut a window to allow for the concrete footer of the post. And in some cases there are stones and roots that are too large for me to move, or that I just simply don't want to deal with or consider a good enough barrier themselves. So then it becomes a real custom job, which slows us down even further. Now, you didn't see how badly I struggled with the upper portion of the fence initially, until 3 things basically turned out to be a game changer. First of all, right now I'm installing screws at the upper edge of the fence so that as I'm unrolling the roll, I can simply hang it at the right height and don't need to mess around with somehow trying to get it propped up. The second thing is this, so some screws barely protruding through the board that I use to clamp the fence allows me to use other clamps to hold those two boards together instead of having to shoot the screw every time. And then lastly, using this piece of lumber in order to keep the fence posts straight relative to one another, which allows me to apply more force as I'm pulling on the fence. So with these three improvements, I'm really starting to pick up speed, and I can now basically do 50 feet of fence roll in a few hours. And there she is in all of her glory. I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. Of course, there's much more to be done. The trench has to be backfilled in. I need to make a gate. I need to start bringing the raised beds over from our old property. And I got to deal with the weeds that grew in the meantime while this took as long as it did. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.